Paige, you have completely ruined everything! I can't believe what you've done, stabbing my family in the back like that, stabbing my son, my only son, in the back with your deceit. What kind of person are you? How could you betray him, betray all of us like this? As his wife, as the woman who was supposed to stand by his side, how dare you? You have no idea the destruction you've caused, do you? Because of you, my son, my dear sweet boy, he was so heartbroken, so devastated by your affair with another man that he couldn't bear to live anymore. Do you understand the pain you've caused him, Paige? You have no idea, do you? He thought there was nothing left for him, not after what you did. He climbed to the top of that building and jumped, believing it was the only escape from the hell you put him through, all because of your selfishness and betrayal. I told myself I would never be like this, but what you've done to my family, to my son, to all of us has broken me. I'm beyond words. And you think you can just walk into his funeral and act like you have any right to be there? No, Paige! I swear if you even think about showing your face, I'll make sure you regret it. I will not let you ruin his final moments, his last bit of peace. You'll never be welcome here, not after what you've done. You think you can just waltz in and pretend like nothing happened? No! And don't you dare even think about looking for whatever money he left behind, Paige. Not a single penny of it will be yours. You've already taken enough from us, his life, his happiness, and now you want to steal from his legacy too? Not happening. You're nothing but a thief in my eyes. You will not benefit from his death, not in any way. I'll make sure of it. You destroyed my family, Paige. You destroyed everything I've ever cared about, and I'll never let you get away with it. You will never walk away free after what you've done. You think you can just keep living your life as if nothing happened? You think you'll get off without any consequences? Think again. I will make sure you feel the weight of your actions for the rest of your life. How could you do this to us, Paige? How? How could you? Phil, have a moment to talk?
Oh, hey, Paige.
Are you close to getting home to your mom's house?
Well, the thing is, while I was taking the bus home, one of the tires burst, so we all had to get off and wait for a new bus to come and get us, so we're running a few hours late. I think there's still another 40 minutes left to go now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's a lie.
Is that right? I'm sorry that happened to your bus. Hopefully you brought some snacks with you in order to have something to eat while waiting.
Thanks. And I had a granola bar in my bag that I ate while waiting outside.
Did you talk with your mom at all about it? I'm sure she was worried that you hadn't made it close to her house yet.
I made sure to send her an email about it. She still hasn't replied to me yet, but I'm assuming around this time she's in the bathtub and doesn't have her phone on her.
I see. By the way, that should mean your mom is still not texting or using any other messaging app like that, right?
That's right. The last time she tried texting with anyone, she got really angry at the keyboard on her phone and broke it. So she's just stuck to doing things like email and calling people. She's really getting up there in age now, so it makes sense why, with all the newer cell phones becoming even more advanced, she's less and less likely to try texting again. If she really did want to try again, she'd be really terrible at it.
That's what I thought.
Why are you asking? What happened?
Well, listen, I got a few strange texts from someone who is trying to act like your mom and was trying to get something from me. The contact was one I have never seen before, but the ID for the number said nothing besides mother-in-law. I just wanted to check with you about it to make sure your mom didn't all of a sudden start texting.
What? In other words, they made it look as though they were my mom and that they were able to text you and everything about me?
I'm sure it's not her, though, especially because of the things they were telling me about regarding you. Everything made no sense at all, and it was almost like some kind of a horror story.
What was it all about?
To you, I'm sure this is going to be something really horrifying to hear.
Well, you wanted to get a better understanding of who it might be, and that's why you're texting me now, right?
Well, yeah. Because it was about something that I need to confirm with you before you get home to your mom at home.
Then how about you send me screenshots of everything that person said about me, and I can read through it all.
I can do that, but just be very careful as you read it all.
If you're asking me to be careful, it must be a hard read. All right, I'll be careful. Paige, I read through it all. I see now what you meant by it being pretty horrifying. I sure don't think that I've died or anything unless I've become a ghost and don't know it yet.
Phil, are you going to be alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sure, that got my heart racing pretty quickly, but you can tell that whoever this oldest son they're talking about is, they're not me. You might want to just ignore it, to be honest. There's nothing we can do to help whatever that is.
That's what I thought. Having to get so many scary messages like that from someone I don't know has really made me feel a bit sick to my stomach.
Thanks for checking with me about it, but I'm gonna be okay.
No worries, and happy to hear that.
But you should really just block that number, Paige, or at the very least mute all their message notifications and just ignore them until I come back home tomorrow.
Those are good points. I'll just mute it for now.
Also, refrain from going out for a bit just in case whoever that is targeting you. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be driving around a bit in the morning, so at that time I won't be able to respond to anything from you. My mom and I have a lot of things to take care of before we're ready to take her car and come back home to you.
I'm aware. Luckily, I don't have any plans to go out, and I'll just be chilling at home.
Make sure to lock the doors and windows as well, please, just in case.
Sure thing. Thanks for reminding me. Paige! Not only have you never replied to me since I sent you all those texts, but you haven't even bothered to come back to the house either! How could you just leave like that without a word? Don't you think we deserve some explanation, some closure? But no, you've been avoiding everything, ignoring every attempt I've made to reach you. Do you have any idea what you've done to my son? Do you even care? He's completely gone now, and I have nobody to come and help me with his death. His grief had eaten him alive, and you're nowhere to be found. Where the hell are you? And now you're ignoring all these texts from your dead husband's mother of all people. I thought we had some semblance of a relationship, but you can't even respond to the only family you've got left? What does that say about you? It's like you've completely forgotten everything, everyone, even your own responsibilities. Look, I don't care what's going on between you and this other man or who you've been sleeping with behind our backs. That's your business. I'm not going to pretend I don't know, but you are still my son's wife, Paige. You took vows. You promised to stand by him, to honor him, for better or worse. It doesn't just go away when things get tough. You need to be here with us. You need to take care of me, take care of his parents, and do what you swore to do, no matter what. This isn't about your personal feelings or your choices right now. This is about my son, and he's dead now because of you. At least do your job, Paige, as his wife. Show some responsibility and come here, even if it's just one last time, and help us. Help us through this. You owe everyone that much, and you owe us that much for God's sake. Do you even remember what it was like when you two were happy? When you told us you loved each other? He believed in you, he trusted you, and now you're just gone and he's dead. I don't know where the hell you're hiding right now, but you need to get your ass back here. I swear if you don't start replying to me soon, I will make sure you regret it. I will call the police on you. I will file a formal police report stating that you were the one who talked my son into killing himself. And don't think for 1 second I won't do it. If that's what it takes to get you to show some responsibility and wake up, then so be it. You've completely ruined everything. He's gone, Paige, and it's because of you and the way you treated him. You broke him. I won't sit by and let you act like none of this matters. You'll pay the consequences for what you've done. If you don't show up and make this right, I will make sure the authorities know the truth. You'll be the least of your own concerns when they come to get you. You're going to be facing a lot more than just me soon enough. If you think you can hide from all of this, think again. Paige, answer me. Answer me now. This is your last chance. You better pick up the phone or I swear I'll be forced to take things even further. You think you've escaped? You think you've walked away without facing anything? You have no idea what you're about to face. The longer you ignore me, the worse it's going to get for you. So don't make me wait any longer. Show some decency and respect for once and come back here to take care of your responsibilities. You don't want to see what happens next.
Phil, good morning. I'm sure that you're in the middle of driving right now. When you have a chance to chat, please text me back.
Good morning, Paige. It'll be another hour or so before I'm back home. We wanted to get some breakfast while we were out, and so we stopped at a restaurant to take a break. Luckily, we took care of most of the paperwork before coming here, so once we're done eating, we'll be ready to come back to the house.
Your mom is with you, right?
Well, of course she is. Did something else happen?
I made sure to mute that person's number, but I forgot to mute calls from them as well. And well, they were calling me this morning. So I took a look at my phone to see what all they sent to me since yesterday, and all of it is even worse than before.
Seriously? And I made sure to check with my mom, and she's still not using her phone to text or anything.
Thank God. It's not like any of the messages from this person look anything like the way your mom would text me if she could, anyway. By the way, have you told her about this happening?
I did. I showed her all those screenshots of the text you sent me while explaining what happened. She started to go off about how no one should ever be allowed to talk about me like that or talk to you like that. She was pretty upset, which wasn't surprising at all.
I see. So this must just be someone trying to either scam me right now, or it's someone else's mother.
Hold on a second.
What?
My mom actually took a look at those screenshots again and said that she noticed something about whoever that is' profile picture.
Huh? The profile picture?
The profile picture is... Well, there's something in that picture that my mom remembers seeing once before. She told me that she remembers those exact artificial flowers in the picture from somewhere. Now that I've taken a closer look, I kind of remember seeing those flowers somewhere myself.
Then there's a chance that this person is someone both you and your mom know.
Anyway, we're gonna finish our breakfast here, and then we'll be heading back to my mom's house. Then I'll make the trip back to you.
All right, I'll be waiting for you.
Paige! I remembered where those artificial flowers are from!
What? Phil, what do you remember about the flowers? Aren't you supposed to be in the middle of work, by the way?
I've remembered something critical about them! I know where that house is with those flowers and everything!
Wait, whose house is it?
That would be your ex-husband's house, I believe.
What?
And what I should be saying is that house belonged to his parents before they moved out. They should be long gone now, so there must be a new family living there now.
That's right. You and Dave are co-workers, aren't you? And now that I really think back, the way I first ran into you was when I was out with Dave, and he introduced me to you, saying you were a good friend of his.
That's right. I learned that back when he was only in 2nd grade. His parents got a divorce and he was forced to move with his mom into her parents' house, and he was living there up until he graduated from high school. My mom and his were good friends back then, so I would always go over to that house with her so that she could talk with his mom for hours.
So that's where you remember those fake flowers from then. Yeah.
I'm sure you know what ended up happening later on, right? 8 years ago, his mom ended up getting into a lot of debt after borrowing so much money, and that led to Dave and her getting into a lot of fights and then him cutting ties to her.
And that's why when I started to date him and eventually married him, I had never seen his mother.
I'm starting to see what might be going on here.
What?
I mean, you got that message from the person saying you went and had an affair, and that led to her son jumping off a building and killing himself, right? And then they sent you some things about not wanting you at the funeral. If there was really a funeral being held for Dave, then I would have heard about his death through work and through some of our friends from back in the day.
Ah, good point. So this really is a scam then, right?
Most likely, but I want to check on one more thing with one of my friends.
All right, please do.
Paige, you cut that crap out right now and reply to me. How many times do I have to ask you all of this before you actually comply, ignoring your own husband's mother of all people? I'm about to dial 911 right now and tell them that I found the person behind my son's death.
The one that would really like for the other to cut out that crap out right now is me.
So you're finally replying to me now, Paige. And the first thing you're going to say to me is that those parents of yours that raised you really did an awful job raising a respectable wife.
Right now, my mother-in-law is sitting right next to me laughing her ass off over all this crap you keep trying to pull. Now, who the hell are you? And don't tell me that you're my mother-in-law, because you're not.
Huh? Sitting next to you?
And my husband is with me right now as well. In other words, I knew that you weren't my mother-in-law a long time ago, so there's no trying to fool me here. And as for the police, I've already called them and told them that your number is a scam number, and that they can start to investigate it anytime now.
What? What are you going on about right now?
If this helps you understand things any better, my mother-in-law moved in with us a few days ago, and right now we're drinking some tea out on the patio.
Huh? So both your mother-in-law and your husband are together with you right now?
My mother-in-law was living by herself for some time, but after my husband and I bought a brand new place that is much larger and has a guest bedroom, we decided to have her come and live with us.
Huh? You're really sleep-talking now, aren't you? We live in an apartment. We're having to rent this place. Now you shut the hell up and listen to me.
Alright, so you are just a stupid little scammer. If you'd really like for me to call you by the name you deserve, I'll me to call you my ex-mother-in-law. Does that work for you?
Huh? Your ex?
You're Irene, correct? The mother of my ex-husband, Dave.
You're telling me that Dave is your ex-husband? Paige, you're already married to another man now. Who the hell are you with now?
I will never tell you that information.
You tell me who they are right now.
Who the hell would tell a complete stranger private information about their family like that?
You shut your damn mouth and tell me who he is right now.
No. All you are is a nuisance, and on top of that, a scammer. I don't have the patience anymore to put up with your attitude now, so please just stop talking to me. I'll be going now.
Paige! I want you to pay me a settlement of $100,000 for having that affair while married to my son. Since Dave is no longer with us thanks to you, I'll be the one taking that money in his place. I will send you all the bank information for my account after this, so make sure that money gets into it by Friday next week, please. I will only allow you to pay me that $100,000 in one lump sum. Now pay up! Paige, where the hell is that settlement? I'm talking about that $100,000 you owe me.
So you haven't learned to shut the hell up then?
I told you that today was the deadline for you to have that money sent into my bank account, right?
And what's the reason you want me to send you that money for again?
Are you telling me you're not listening to the mother of the man you killed after you went and had an affair with another man?
Here's the thing, though. I haven't been his wife for years now, so stop calling me such and go screw yourself.
I know that already. But that doesn't mean you never went and had an affair while married to my son.
I never did, though.
Huh? But you just told me last week that you went and married the man you were cheating on my son with. I will not allow you to backtrack here saying that you never ever married that man.
The man who is my husband now is a man that I started to date and then married 1 year after I had divorced Dave. And if you want to know something else, that divorce between Dave and I took place 5 years ago now.
What?
The reason we got divorced? We both had different ideas about the kind of family we wanted to have, as well as the kind of future we wanted to have with one another, making it too difficult for us to live with one another. Neither one of us blamed the other, and when we got the divorce, we made sure to split our properties fair and square, and then never talk to one another again.
Huh?
So you're telling me for the past 5 years you never knew about him and I getting a divorce?
Wait, but Dave, because his wife was sleeping with another man, he took his life after jumping off a building downtown.
No, he didn't. Dave is still very much alive right now.
Huh?
By the way, the only accident I ever remember him having was a broken leg, and that wasn't even from falling off a building.
Huh?
Now you listen to me right now, Irene. It has been 8 years now since your son went and cut you out of his life for good. I understand that he is living far, far away from the rest of us right now, and that it may be very difficult for you to get accurate news about him, but what you call him falling off a building and killing himself wasn't really that at all. He was just at work one day eating lunch, and after his break was over with, he went to go back down the stairs to his desk. And as he was about to descend, he tripped and fell down 2 flights of stairs without stopping.
What? Is that what happened?
He also did get cheated on by his wife at some point, but that some point was around a year ago, and they are not divorced. In other words, your threats against me after claiming I was the one that made him kill himself isn't going to fly at all.
Ah, right.
There is something very crucial that I just said there, and I will repeat it one more time. It was Dave's second wife who had an affair and cheated on him, not me.
What?
And not a single person at the moment has heard anything about him having a funeral now, right?
I just assumed that I never heard anything about the funeral because he had cut ties to me so long ago and nobody wanted me to go.
Is that what you assumed? Anyway, all of the things we found out on our end have been relayed to you now for your sake. Which now means that from now on, there is no reason for you to ever be bothering me with any of your crap ever again, right?
What? Hold on a second. About that $100,000.
Have you even been listening to what I've said? I divorced Dave 5 years ago, and we never wanted to get a settlement from one another. And that happened after he had cut ties to you, so you don't get to have a part in any of his affairs anyway. So shut the hell up about some BS settlement for $100,000 and go screw yourself, Irene.
I am in extreme debt right now.
Extreme debt, huh?
I'm in debt $50,000 right now to a male prostitute.
You're in debt $50,000, yet you were threatening me for $100,000? Why is that?
I wanted to have more money in order to be able to afford him and not go into debt.
Is that right?
Are you going to help me? You understand as a woman yourself, wanting to have all your pleasures met by a man that knows what he's doing, right?
Screw off.
What?
Such a disgusting bitch.
Paige!
With all that having been said, goodbye forever.
No way, wait a second. Please just give me $100,000. That's all I'll ever ask from you.
And with all that having ended, it turns out that the scammer who had been yelling at me, blaming me for cheating and for the death of her son, was actually none other than my ex's mother. Of all the people I could have imagined, it was her trying to scam me out of my money. The whole situation was so bizarre and twisted that I honestly couldn't wrap my head around it for a long time. I couldn't believe how low she had sunk. After all, we were talking about someone who had been a part of my life for so long. Someone who had once been somewhat of a mother figure to me, yet there she was, hurling insults, making false accusations, and trying to manipulate me into handing over a fortune. She came at me with such ferocity, with tears in her eyes, accusing me of horrific things I never did, like being responsible for the death of her son. I knew the whole thing wasn't adding up. I was shocked at first, confused, and then finally, once the veil started to lift, I realized the depth of the manipulation. Her son had been long out of my life, but she still held this deep resentment toward me. And now, she was desperate. Desperate enough to go to extreme lengths to get her hands on money, any money. And she was willing to use any tactic to get it. And it wasn't just about the money either. It was about control and revenge and all sorts of other emotions I couldn't even begin to untangle. At that point, it wasn't just about the scam anymore. It was about the years of pent-up bitterness and regret that had been slowly bubbling to the surface. I didn't know what had happened to Irene to make her this way. She had always been manipulative, sure, but I never thought she would go this far. To target me, someone she once welcomed into her life with open arms, just seemed unfathomable. But then, when I thought about it, maybe it wasn't so hard to believe. She had lost so much. Her son, her stability, her sense of control over her life, and I had become an easy scapegoat for everything that had gone wrong. Word about this scam quickly made its way to Save. As soon as he found out what had been going on, he was furious. I could hear it in his voice when he called me to discuss the situation. He said that she was no longer to be trusted, and he made it clear that nobody in his circle should even consider talking to her. Block her number immediately, he told me, his voice filled with anger and disbelief. Don't let her try to get anything from you again. It was clear that he wasn't just angry for me, he was furious on behalf of the whole family. The betrayal was worse than anything we could have imagined, but then it got even crazier. The reason why Irene, yes, my ex's mother, had been able to get my new number in the first place was because of an uncle of Dave's. Apparently, this guy just so happened to know it and, without hesitation, passed it along to Irene. At the time, I had no idea how she managed to get it, but once I found out, I wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry. It made me even more upset because it was an example of just how careless people could be with personal information. I wasted no time telling Dave about this. And he did what anyone would do in his position. He went straight to his uncle and absolutely tore into him. He couldn't believe his own family member would do something so reckless. "What were you thinking?" Dave had asked his uncle. "You don't just hand someone's number out to whoever asks for it, especially someone like her. This is ridiculous." It wasn't just about the privacy invasion. It was about trust, and Dave didn't take that lightly. He made sure his uncle understood how dangerous that information leak had been for me, and the consequences of it. From that point on, I hoped there would be no more drama with Irene or her son, or any of that entire toxic family. I was exhausted just from thinking about it. I didn't need any more trouble in my life, not after everything I'd been through. It felt like the universe was constantly throwing curveballs at me, and I was just trying to live my life and get back to some sense of normalcy. But speaking of Irene, there was the whole matter of the $100,000 she had been trying to scam out of me in order to afford a male prostitute she was seeing. This whole part of the story was just as bizarre and cringeworthy as everything else. I'd never been so disgusted and disillusioned with someone before. It turned out that she wasn't as smart as she thought she was, and she had gotten in way over her head. The man she had been seeing, the male prostitute, had been providing her with his services in exchange for money. However, the pimp who ran the operation discovered that Irene was already buried in debt to the tune of $50,000. She wasn't going to be able to afford his services anymore. And once he realized she had no more money to offer him, he cut her off completely. Not only did she lose access to the one thing that had been providing her with any sort of income, but she also lost her place in his operation. It was one thing after another for her. She was no longer a priority in his world, and he told her to leave him alone, making it clear that she was no longer part of his circle. Shortly after that, her financial situation continued to crumble. She wasn't able to pay her apartment rent, and when the landlord finally sent her an eviction notice, things went from bad to worse. Irene, in all her desperation, didn't know where to turn, and after the notice came, she had to face the harsh reality that she would be forced out of her home. A week after the eviction notice, the police showed up at her apartment and physically removed her. It wasn't long before rumors started circulating about what happened to her after the eviction. It seemed like she had hit rock bottom. I later heard that she had resorted to becoming a prostitute herself to survive. But this was no glamorous life. In fact, it was probably worse than anything she had faced before. Apparently, she started living with her former male prostitute pimp, and the reports I heard indicated that he treated her terribly. It seemed like there was no way out for her. She had made a series of terrible decisions, and now, there were consequences she couldn't avoid. Over the course of the following year, things only seemed to get worse for Irene. I heard some whispers about her health deteriorating, and it seemed like karma had a cruel way of coming back around to her. She had sunk so low, using whatever money she managed to make from her new work to get plastic surgery instead of paying off her debt. She traveled to Mexico to undergo a surgery that was cheap, but the results were supposedly great. She had the breasts of a young woman restored, something that seemed to give her a brief moment of joy. For a while, it seemed like she was doing better. She had a few men paying for her services, but unfortunately, it wasn't long before things took a dark turn. Just a few weeks after returning from Mexico, Irene's health began to rapidly decline. It turns out that during her brief stint of doing well, she developed breast cancer. But instead of seeking treatment, she continued to prioritize the superficial things in her life. Her pimp, who had once been her lifeline, tossed her aside when he realized she was no longer able to work in the same way. He kicked her out onto the streets, leaving her to fend for herself. But without the money from her work, she couldn't pay off her debts anymore. She had no way out. Eventually, the loan shark who she had angered earlier found her, and the reports stated that the outcome was tragic. The police discovered her body in a back alley downtown, lifeless. It wasn't hard to figure out what had happened. She was the victim of a violent crime. As the police looked into it, they found no immediate leads, but they were actively investigating the situation. They didn't know who had done it, but I didn't need to know any more details. I could guess what had happened. When I saw the news, I called Dave immediately. I needed to know what he thought about all of this. He was a little more calm when I asked, but his response was blunt, as expected. "She got what she deserved," he said, matter-of-factly. And honestly, I couldn't bring myself to disagree with him. It was a tragic end, but it was also a product of all the choices Irene had made along the way. She had burned every bridge she had, and in the end, there was no one left to help her. It wasn't easy to feel indifferent about her death, but the reality was clear. She had chosen a life of deceit, manipulation, and desperation, and it had caught up with her in the worst way possible. The way I saw it, she had taken advantage of people for too long, and in the end, she paid the price. As much as I knew she had dug her own grave, part of me couldn't help but feel some measure of sorrow. There was a time when she had been a part of my life, and the fact that it had come to this, it was hard to digest. She was once someone who was supposed to be a maternal figure, someone I could turn to. But she had crossed every boundary in the worst way imaginable. A year later, things seemed to have come full circle. While I couldn't say I was relieved by the way things ended for her, I also couldn't help but feel that it was a reminder. People like Irene don't get away with their actions forever. It may not have been the justice I had hoped for, but it was justice in its own twisted form. I wasn't sure how to feel about her death, but one thing was for sure. She had paid the ultimate price for everything she had done to hurt others. So I moved on. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but I moved on. I couldn't keep looking back, not after all the trauma and manipulation she'd put me through. I had to focus on the future and the people who truly mattered to me. Those who cared about me and would never try to scam or manipulate me like she had. It was time to heal, to rebuild my life. Life, after all, had a way of moving forward whether we were ready for it or not. It was about learning from the past, but not letting it hold me back. It was time to embrace the future, to make choices that would allow me to leave all the pain and manipulation behind.